Kea, we would just like you to discuss the process of your EE. Just run me through what you started with, how you did, okay, and what has your final outcome been.
Sure. So, ion exchange resins at the beginning of the EE process was something of an area of interest to me. I wanted to explore water purification through my 11th and 12th as a project, and this new technology seemed to be extremely effective for removing impurities from water. However, they're very expensive, and ion exchange columns and resins are very difficult to because you need a laboratory set up to operate them. And so I'd chosen my EE topic in order to try and see if there was an alternative method that could be as effective as ion exchange resins, but more easily available and cheaper to access for individuals who didn't have the facilities that some of the more privileged members of society do. So that's the sentiment I had started off the EE with. I started doing research into the different methods I could use to purify water that weren't ion exchange resins, but there was just so much information on the topic that it was a little difficult to narrow things down because water purification is a very dynamic, up and coming field. Eventually, what I got to for small scale water purification for economically challenged individuals was coagulants because something as simple as alum is actually aluminum potassium sulfate, and even though it's very commonly available in most places around Bombay, it could be a very effective water purification method. And
Mhm.
so I began conducting research on coagulants specifically, but then I realized that I couldn't purify water of all its impurities, and so I narrowed it down to three: fluorine, phosphates, and arsenic, because I thought those were the most potent given um, given the water quality in Bombay and around the world. Um, I can go to the specifics of those three. Okay, perfect.
Just the
So
process.
right. So I narrowed it down to three because I realized that water has a whole range of from inorganic impurities to turbidity to particulate impurities to inorganic to organic materials. And so I decided to focus on these three inorganic ions. And then the whole issue that came up was actually because of COVID-19. I didn't know whether I could conduct primary research or secondary research, and I wasn't sure how to proceed. So, after discussion with my supervisor, I ended up conducting a hybrid. I ended up conducting hybrid research where I combined primary research and secondary research to arrive to my conclusion. Um, and following that, I just kept learning more and more. The more I analyzed my research, the more I analyzed trend lines, the more I read papers that had already conducted the research along the lines of the research that I was conducting. I gained a lot more findings, and I gained a lot more insight into what the water purification process is like. And eventually then I was just doing research, analyzing my findings, and writing the paper.
Okay. So, Kea, tell me what has been the highlight of the highest point in the process of your extended essay and some places where you felt a little low and which were challenging.
Okay, so the highest point of my extended essay, at least for me, was the experimentation because so I was privileged enough to have been able to do primary research despite the COVID-19 situation, and I spectrophotometrically determined the ion concentrations in different solutions, and just seeing how my hypothesis, my theoretical hypothesis, translated into those vivid colors of those solutions was just extremely fascinating. And then even more exhilarating was when you measure the absorbance readings, you plot the trend line, and it matches your hypothesis. Seeing real life proof of what you've been speculating was just an extremely exciting moment for me, and I thought that was probably the highest point of my EE. Um, and the lowest point was, I think for me, like trying to conduct research into areas that hadn't been explored much. So um, I was trying to find, for example, an equation for the chelation of zircon and nitrate and alizar and red, and very little practical experimental research had been done on that, at least as per my findings. And it was a little bit of a struggle to try and find those particular things that you were looking for, because you're scouring resources across the internet and you keep coming up with a lack of results. So that was a little demotivating. But other than that,
Okay. So,
Okay, so if you get a chance to do this experiment second time or conduct this extended essay second time, what you would like to change in this extended essay?
okay, so I only experimented with the effectiveness of ion exchange resins and coagulants under normal conditions. In further experiments, I would probably like to vary like the pH value or the temperature of the solutions that I'm working with, just to see if the effectiveness of these purification methods increases. Because, say, for example, with an increase in the pH of the solution, if a particular ion exchange resin can purify a larger volume of water, that would be more effective and it would reduce waste in the long term. And so, I like to conduct research into how to make this purification process more efficient by varying certain factors. And another like facet of the research that I hadn't explored was, so in my conclusion of my extended essay, I found that coagulants are actually best used when paired with other purification methods like sand filtration and carbon filtration. And I'd love to explore sand filtration and carbon filtration in combination with these coagulation methods as well, just to see what kind of results that can yield.
Kea, having completed the E process, having completed the E entirely now, what is one advice that you would give yourself to the Kea in the month of September? What would you tell to Kea in the month of September?
So first, probably it's all going to like work out. Don't get overwhelmed by the process, because writing a 4,000 word thesis is a little intimidating regardless of how qualified you are. And so I was a little worried that the end product of what I was researching wouldn't be as refined as I expected it to be. However, so long as I'm genuinely thinking about what research I have done and analyzing it to the best of my ability using the skills that I have learned from my supervisor and from the IB program, by the end of it, along the process just ends up working out, and you come out with and the IB would not let you come out with a final product that you weren't happy with.
Okay. Throughout the process, has there been any change in the focus of the RQ? Did at any point you had to change? What were the reasons for that change and how did you manage it?
Okay, so initially, so like I told you, I decided to narrow down on a few impurities in water. But the three impurities that are currently the focus of my EE weren't the initial three impurities I had chosen. I had initially gone with dissolved oxygen, calcium, and magnesium, and I think lead. And so the reason why I didn't use lead is because it was a toxic and hazardous metal that I couldn't really handle. The reason I didn't use dissolved oxygen is because dissolved oxygen can actually be extremely helpful for aquatic life in water, and drinking water with dissolved oxygen isn't a problem. And so I didn't use that as an impurity, because in some cases it can actually be helpful. And the same thing with calcium and magnesium. Although the hardness of water is usually reduced because it rusts metal pipes when that's flowing through to reach our homes, drinking water that has traces of calcium and magnesium can actually be beneficial for you, because it helps develop bone structure in humans. And so, after finding that these three impurities, well, with the exception of lead, could actually be helpful for you, I realized that that's not something that I wanted to remove from water, and I ended up focusing on more toxic inorganic ions.
Kia, you have used a hybrid approach to getting your extended essay done, right? Now, what are the skills of the two approaches that you think are very similar, which are different, and which are the skills that you've learned and how are they different from each other?
Okay, so for my secondary research, I found critical thinking was extremely important, because when you're gathering secondary data, not all experiments are going to match exactly to the experimentation that you are following, right? You're going to have to mix and match sources from different, you're going to have to mix and match different sources in order to make sure that it aligns with what your experimentation is. And so I found critical thinking extremely important so that I could analyze the information I'd found online correctly in order to match what I wanted for the data I wanted for my extended essay. And for primary data, I found thinking skills to be extremely important because the benefit of primary data is that it differs from other literature values, right? So when I looked at other experiments online, they had marginally different values than what I had obtained in the laboratory. And that gives you scope to kind of analyze where you went wrong or what you can do to better your primary experimentation, and why there's a difference in primary data values and how you can improve your experimentation based on those differences.
Okay.
Suppose you had given a chance to come to your junior batch and explain them the process of the extended essay, what kind of advice would you like to give to your juniors so that in regards to the choice of the subject, in regards to the overall process of the extended essay?
So I definitely say, number one, don't blow it out of proportion. Don't think that the extended essay has to be on a very profound topic that's, just like PhD level. The extended essay is just basically an exploration of something that you care genuinely about and that you're genuinely interested in. And so when you're choosing your subject as well, make sure that it's something that you had a slight interest in the past, and you know that you want to pursue that over the next 2 years, because the extended essay process isn't just a one-time thing. It extends over the entirety of your IB career, and so you're going to have to be very, very involved with that subject for through your entire term. So when you're choosing your subject, make sure that it's something that you genuinely enjoy doing, because you're going to have to spend a lot of time doing research and investing a lot of effort into that project. And so if you don't like sitting down and for like a few hours at a time and just scrolling through articles and getting more and more absorbed into the kind of research and the kind of processes that are involved in your extended essay, you shouldn't choose that topic.
Yeah, during the process of the extended essay journey, what have you learned about yourself as a learner?
So I've learned that I am a very in-depth learner, and not just in terms of the subject of my choice. It's just that every time I find a piece of information that I don't know enough about, I tend to go on like these binges where I read articles and I watch videos, and I just go on and on for hours just so that I can wrap my mind around a particular concept. So I actually really like that this process brought that out in me, because there wasn't much scope to do that in the curriculums I had learned in the past. But now suddenly I just had the opportunity to like explore the vast array of sources that are available on the internet to really immerse myself and feel comfortable with the concepts that I was researching. And I really like that I was able to discover that during the extended essay process.
Okay. One or two learnings from the extended essay process that would help you in your life at university or in future, whenever.
So first off, failure is inevitable. That when I started off my extended essay, I expected it to go a similar way, but there were some huge changes that we made in the middle, like the the factors, the variables, the impurities that I was investigating, what kind of research I would use. We went from secondary to primary to hybrid, and there are huge changes along the way, but um, don't go with what you're expecting. Like, allow the unexpected to come to you and adapt, because that's just something that's going to happen whether you like it or not. So I definitely think that that would help me while writing research papers in university. And the other thing that the extended essay process has taught me about research is probably that there's more research out there than you expect. Like, I didn't expect, so I'd never heard of ion exchange resins before I started researching. Well, before I developed my slight interest in it in the beginning and then started researching it for my extended essay. And I was surprised when I looked online and I found like pages and articles and documents and PDFs on ion exchange resins. And there are just vast worlds out there on these topics that you may never have heard of before, but that are definitely worth exploring. And so every opportunity I get to conduct research into like these niche areas, I want to take, because you never know what you can find.
Okay. Kea, when we are talking about secondary research, I know for sure one challenge is that there's so much data, or there is sometimes no data at all. So, in that case, what are the strategies that you have used to make sure that the data you select is appropriate for your RQ and has helped you to answer your RQ? So, speak about those strategies.
Sure. So I actually followed a kind of pattern for all three of my impurities, just to ensure uniformity, and so that I could develop my analysis a little bit by doing a comparative analysis between the three impurities I was removing. The process I followed was getting primary data or secondary data and then plotting it on a graph for my coagulant first and then for my ion exchange resin. So essentially, I needed percentage removal values and a graph showing how much that purification method had purified the water, right? So when I was researching online as well, so first off, obviously you have to ensure that's coming from a credible source. So you look at the number of citations that um, that source has received, and you also look at the kind of institution that's publishing it. So either if it's a research university or if it's a well-known institute of chemistry, something like that. So you make sure that it's coming from a credible source, and then once you've opened that document, look for the charts and graphs, skip straight to the data analysis and see if you can interpret that for yourself to see if it matches with what you're looking for. If or the pattern that you've established, like I had established the percentage removal and then graphs. If it doesn't match that, or if it takes into account another factor that I had either not learned or I wasn't addressing in this extended essay, and so that data wouldn't be applicable, you shift it and you move on, regardless of how fancy and information rich it seems.
Okay. Looking at your conclusion, how successful have you been in answering your RQ?
So, so with reference to my RQ and my hypothesis, the RQ is basically which, in simpler words, which method is better for removing impurities from water, right? Coagulants or ion exchange resins. My hypothesis predicted that ion exchange resins would remove more of the impurity from water, but my conclusion actually not only determined that, but it also analyzed the consistency of these methods. So when I use solutions having different concentrations of these impurities, the percentage removal values that coagulants and ion exchange resins produced actually differed. So ion exchange resins were a lot more consistent than coagulants. So not only did I prove my hypothesis, but I also found this whole consistency aspect that I hadn't accounted for initially. And so the extended essay kind of showed me how shallow I was being with my approach. I just said that ion exchange resin will remove more than coagulants, but my conclusion allowed me to quantify how much more for each impurity and how much more varies across different concentrations of solutions.
Okay.